Hey.
backgrounds here today, and I think that means a lot. And I think that fighting together with solidarity really says a lot about how far we've gone and come together, especially with these really tough years. And I just want to say that the fight didn't end during the Civil War. It didn't end during the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, and it hasn't ended today. There's still people that think about privatized prisons. Why would we privatize something? Think about it. What happens when we privatize something? It's to make money out of it. We live in capitalism. I mean, and there are many back and forth arguments you can have about capitalism, but the main argument is here that if something's privatized, it's to make a profit out of it. And even if they're not doing like labor, there are people, there are heads that are thrown in these facilities, in private prisons and facilities like this, specifically so somebody can make money off of them. And we should think about that a little longer. And sorry, this is really a right of nowhere kind of speech and thank you. So that's I just wanted to kind of keep that in your head.
There, we're gonna say la polimigra, okay? All right. Chinga! La polimigra! Chinga! La polimigra! Chinga, chinga, chinga! La polimigra! Oh my God! I need to train you all more. Let's do it one more time. Chinga! La polimigra! Oh, la polimigra. Okay. Here we go again. Good thing nobody's taping. Nobody knows that you messed up. Okay. Chinga! La polimigra! Chinga! La polimigra! Chinga, chinga, chinga! La polimigra! Much better. Thank you. Who's in the yard? Unit C is in the yard. Okay, we're gonna go. No están solos. You are not alone. No están solos. You are not alone. No están solos. You are not alone. No están solos. Make a lot of noise. We're gonna do one chant and we're gonna stop and see if we can repeat it. We're gonna say chinga la migra, okay? Chinga la migra! They can see the kites? Okay, move those kites because they can see them. They can see the kites. ¡Sin papeles! ¡Sin miedo! ¡Sin papeles! ¡Sin miedo! ¡Sin miedo! ¡No papers!
No fear!
¡No papers!
No fear!
¡No papers!
No fear!
¡No papers!
No fear!
We're gonna do the fuck eyes. I just love that. Fuck!
Eyes!
Fuck!
Eyes!
Fuck!
Eyes!
Thank you. This therapy for me es mi terapia, lo siento. ¡Ay! I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win!
I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win!
I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win!
I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win!
I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win!
I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win!
I believe!
I believe!
We will win!
We will win! Tacoma. Where are you? Here. Oh.
Oh, y'all can make some noise, right?
Yeah, give me
Nah, y'all gotta get a little louder than that. Y'all gotta get a little louder than that. How we feeling, people? Whoa, I say, how we feeling, people? I go by the name of TDH, y'all. Artist, owner of Big Bang. Big Bang stands for believe in greatness, but accomplish new goals, okay? Yeah, y'all can make some noise for that. As y'all can see, I bring a couple of my comrades to come out here and stunt with y'all, you feel me? A lot of y'all, I see you, brother. A lot of y'all know that we fighting a whole nother fight. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like it was very important to come over here and help support y'all fight as well. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we all go through the same thing, people. Just different circumstances, right? Just different situations. You get me? I'm no better than you, brother. Just because it happened to a lot of us. Sure, I tell y'all one thing, a lot of stories don't make CNN. A lot of stories don't make the news. You get what I'm saying? A lot of stuff happened to y'all too. You get what I'm saying? We are one, right? We are one, right? I've been doing this for a long time, y'all. Like, I promise y'all, I'm not new to this. Like, I am that guy that got the city of Tacoma national recognition with a gun safety song, okay? Like, yes, I am that guy, all right? Like, I am that guy. Like, I've been motivating the youth to do something different with their lives, something positive with their lives since a youngin'. Since a youngin', y'all. Trust me. In the streets, I come from that. I come from that. Anybody that know me out here in the streets, they know me. They know me. Like, my reputation is solid, y'all. You feel what I'm saying? And one thing I tell y'all about this fight that we fighting, y'all, don't none of my people judge me. That don't take no lag off of my reputation that I got in the streets, because honestly, I felt like, shoot, if I could do these streets so much destruction by messing it up with this gang violence and all of that, it's only right that I could take all my time to help rebuild these streets back up. You get what I'm saying? Straight up. Straight up. I see you too. Your fight, your cause is very important, y'all. I don't want my worst enemies to be in places like this. Understand me. I got a big brother that's locked up right now. 8 years, right? Something that he ain't do. He on year number 7 right now. I heard a lot of people was getting out early because of the coronavirus and all of that good jazz, right? But my big brother, they ain't let him out on release, and he at the end of his sentences, you get me? He on the downslope, you get me? Like, I feel y'all people that's locked up in there. I feel them. Them conditions ain't good at all. We understand it. Food, hygiene. Like, we all know. We know only what we hear about the circumstances that's going on in there. You get what I'm saying? But understand me, what y'all hearing, trust me, it's 10 times way more serious in there. Trust me, it's a lot of stuff that don't even make it out here. You feel me? Like this right here, we all need to be supporting each other with anybody that we got incarcerated. Straight up. Letters help, people. How many people we got out here today? Well over 20, well over 30 people, well over 40 people, 50 people, 60 people. Listen, all these letters just for one person to help somebody, y'all. Like, we all can't be selfish and just worried about our cousins or our brothers or our sisters or somebody. Like, we gotta help one another for real, because we the culture. We the culture, you get what I'm saying? My lady, where's she at? I can't remember what it might have been you. It might have been you. You was talking about resources, y'all. Understand me, all the resources that are put here in our communities, that's all right. I'll give it a thumbs up. But understand me, the resources is only as good as the community that is using the resources. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Straight up. Straight up. Like, I'm not happy or satisfied with the conditions that's going on with these they call them inmates, but I call them people. I call them my brothers. I call them my sisters. You get what I'm saying? What they going through in there. You get what I'm saying? Straight up, the conditions ain't good, y'all. Do y'all understand? Do y'all understand if black people and Hispanic, like, if our incarceration rate was the same as white people should, the jail system would be declined over 40%. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. A lot of people that's incarcerated and didn't even commit a crime. You get what I'm saying? They didn't even commit a crime. Like, do y'all even believe, okay, answer this. Do y'all believe criminals belong in here?
No!
I don't either. I don't either. Exactly. I don't see criminals. Hey, the people that they scared of is my brothers and sisters. Ain't that crazy? They normal to me. They normal to me. I tell you one thing, y'all. I ain't gonna talk too much. I brung somebody here to speak because I feel like Black Lives Matter, the cause that y'all fighting for, like, we all one, baby. We all need to come together. We need to make it one whole thing. You get what I'm saying? So on the right of me right now, y'all, I have deputy mayor. Yeah, y'all heard that title? Yeah, Keith Blocker is in the building, y'all. I don't know anybody that's really in position that kind of functions like these. Do y'all? I can't hear y'all. Do y'all? No! Not at all. Not at all. So, like, if we can give, I want y'all to scream as loud as y'all can for this brother right here that's standing here fighting with y'all. Please, Keith Blocker, y'all. Yeah!
I didn't come here to plan to speak. I came here to support Terrence. But since I got the mic, might as well say a few things. What's going on right here, right now in our nation is terrible. Right now we're dealing with two pandemics. One is COVID-19, and the other pandemic is racism and systematic oppression. That's right.
Yes, thank you.
And racism in this country is rooted in anti-blackness. Follow me now. All people of color, you've all heard of the one drop rule, right? The one drop rule meant you was black. Trust and believe, almost everybody in here, out here today, got one drop. Got one drop. So we got to get past colorism. Colorism is killing us. It's destroying our communities, internally and externally. Colorism is, the darker your skin is, the less value you have within your own community, within its own society. And that's rooted in anti-blackness. That's rooted in the idea that you have some black in you. Because when people came to this country, we were all mixing. All of us was mixing. And if you're a person of color, more than likely, you have some roots that go back to Africa. So, with that, we have to fight against all anti-blackness, all colorism, any idea or concept that says you are worth less because your skin is darker. We need to oppose it, we need to challenge it, and we need to push back against it. And the more we do that in this country, the more we do that within our own communities, the better off we're going to be as a people. Trust me. We need to have solidarity right now. We all can play a different role. We need people to march. We need people to protest. We need people sometimes to even throw bottles if they have to. Whatever we got to do to get people's attention is what we got to do. We had, what's the football player that kneeled? What's his name? Colin Kaepernick. He was deemed the worst person in the world for getting on the knee. That was his form of protest. And now people saying, oh, why are they rioting? Why are they doing this and why are they doing that? Well, you get on the knee, then you bad. You throw a bottle, you bad. Somebody tell me what you're supposed to do to protest. Because it all seems wrong to me. So, whatever role you play, please play it. Hold politicians accountable. Hold me accountable. Hold city council accountable. Hold the state legislators accountable. Hold your Congress people accountable. And vote them out if they don't work with you to make changes in your community. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can make a change. Together, we are powerful. And they know it. And that's why they want to divide and conquer us. And we cannot allow it. We have to put an end to it. It's 2020. This has been, for some people, a horrible year. But I see a transformation happening in these communities. I see a transformation happening in the city of Tacoma. I see people stepping up and raising another step before. And as long as we stay like this, we're weak. But when we like this, we're strong and we're powerful. Yeah.
Hey, before I get out of here, I got a chant for y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yes!
So repeat after me. We fight!
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 We win!
We
We
win!
win!
We win!
We win!
We win!
Make some noise, y'all. Come on.
That's exactly what ICE hates. Unity. Lo que más odia la migra es que nos unamos. Not only ICE, but everybody in power. That's exactly what they want. They want us divided. And we're not gonna be divided. We have one single enemy, and that enemy is ICE. The only reason why we're here is to fight ICE, not to fight each other. We're not here to argue over why we are here. If you're not here to be against ICE, then you're not supposed to be here. Si no estás aquí para pelear a la migra, entonces no debes estar aquí. We are not here to center you. We are here to center the people in detention. Hoy estamos aquí para darte lugar a ti, pero le damos el lugar a la gente detenida. We're not here to please anybody or to make good look anybody. We're here to make a change, and that change means freeing people from detention. Estamos aquí para vernos bien, para complacer a nadie. Estamos aquí simplemente para asegurar que la gente detenida sea libre. We expect that you understand we are the leadership here. Esperamos que entiendas que nosotros somos el liderazgo aquí. This space, we take it over. Nosotros tomamos este espacio. And as such, we need to make sure the space is built to create change. Y como tal, este espacio debe de ser considerado para hacer cambio. And that change needs to be exactly what we want to create, not replicate what we don't want. Ese espacio no debe de ser una replicación del mismo odio que estamos tratando de deshacer. Es un espacio de lo que nosotros queremos. When we say we want everybody out of every single cage, there are people that don't understand that. Cuando decimos que queremos a la gente fuera de las jaulas, hay gente que no entiende eso. They don't understand how can that be, how can it happen. No pueden entender que si puede suceder algo así.
And it starts on how we treat each other. Empieza con cómo nos tratamos unos a otros. So we should not be divided, especially not by our own self-interest. Y no debemos de estar divididos especialmente por nuestro interés individual. The only interest here is the community interest. El único interés aquí es el de la comunidad. And that interest is the people detained and getting them out. Ese interés es sacar a la gente detenida. So if you believe that, you're going to repeat after me. Chinga! 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 Louder! Chinga! Chinga! Fuck! Ice! Fuck! Ice! They are the only enemy here. I have here a bunch of letters that we received from detention. Tengo en mi mano muchísimas cartas que recibimos del centro de detención. Every single one of them, they want to go public. We have their names and a story of every one of them. Todas estas cartas que nos mandaron al centro de detención son personas que quieren salir al público. Son personas que quieren que sepa su historia. Y las personas detenidas nos acaban de mandar un regalo. People in detention just sent us a gift. That ball. La pelota.
Outside, if one, two ones, many people. Outside, they come to see the kite. The people say, thank you so much for doing the thing we are doing. But they come to see the kites and they are sending this with all the love and appreciation for you to be supporting me.
Right now, and they send us this as a gift. They throw it over the two fences so they can see the kites.
Yeah, they have no mask.
They're not wearing masks. Nobody's wearing masks.
The one was following me.
And the guard was following our dear colleague that got this for us. All right, go Wendy! Say yeah, Wendy! That we are featuring today is Naomi Langale Moba. She's from Congo. She's a very young woman that is detained right now. Check your social media, because in our social media should be now her picture, her letter, her story. And she's asking you to support her so she can be free. In each of those stories that we're going to feature throughout the month of July and possibly till August, because we have a lot of people, we need you to contact the governor, the mayor of Tacoma, and ICE. Okay, so the governor, because we're in Washington state, they are Washingtonians. There's something going on regarding COVID-19, and there's all this imposition to every resident of Washington, and they should not be forgotten. Right? So the governor needs to figure out what to do. To the city of Tacoma, because we're in the city of Tacoma. So we're asking right now the mayor and the city council to at least pass a resolution to deny, more support of any kind to LWDC and shut it down. Simple as that. And to us, because they ultimately have the power to actually release people. They just don't want to, so let's spot them, right? I know. We're gonna be painting their yard back there. Okay, yeah. Entonces, cada día del mes de julio y en agosto vamos a estar sacando diferentes historias. Todas estas historias van a estar saliendo tal vez hasta el mes de agosto. La primera es Naomi Lengala Moba. Ella es de Congo y es una joven que pidió que sacáramos su historia pública, y ella lo que solicita es que le apoyemos para que la saquen. Entonces, cuando vean sus medios sociales, cualquiera que vayan, van a ver que estamos poniendo estas historias. Vean, hoy el de ella, tenemos su foto, tenemos su historia y tenemos cómo comunicarse con el gobernador, con la alcaldesa y con la migra. Y la migra porque al final de cuentas ellos tienen la decisión de poder dejar salir a la gente, pero también porque simple y sencillamente pues los queremos molestar. ¿Por qué no? Ellos nos molestan a nosotros, nosotros a ellos. Okay, so we want to make sure that we continue flying kites. For those that want to stay longer, fly the kites because you are heard. They can actually see them, ¿verdad? Entonces, los que quieran quedarse, seguir volando las cometas, los papalotes, por favor háganlo, porque resulta que sí pueden verlas. We're going to close the space by having another dance. The Azteca dancers are going to close the space. Entonces, ahorita ya vamos a cerrar el espacio. Vamos a pedirles que vean otra vez el cierre a través de las danzas aztecas. Pero los que se quieran quedar a volar los papalotes, por favor. And once we have this last closing, we're going to do another chant because we want to make sure that people in detention can hear us. But let's just do one quickly. No están solos. You are not alone. No están solos. You are not alone. Out. No están solos. You are not alone. 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 No están solos. No están solos. No están solos. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now let's listen. Let's listen. You need the mic, Papa? No? Okay. Okay.
So the same as the dance with the songs, also we are praying and we pray this talking. So sometimes there's not a lot of words, but it's more like the feeling. So if you feel like you can follow it and you want to follow it, remember it's not a song, it's a prayer also. So we are saying different energy, strength. And so with this song, we hope that all of you can come back to your house with your people safely. Thank you for being here, supporting those people. Thank you for supporting black people, brown people. There's another kind, another country of people there, not only Mexicans or South Americans. So with this last prayer, let's think about that and let's think for change.
Anybody that contributed, that's a lot of people brought snacks, food down all the way by merchandise, waters. Thank you so much to all the families, para todas las familias que nos acompañaron hoy. Muchas, muchas gracias, se los agradecemos mucho. So, oh, we forgot, we have a piñata. It's for the families, es para las familias que tienen familiares adentro. So it's for the families that have loved ones inside the detention center.
Check, check, check.
Fourth wall.
Let me know if it's working.
And if you point it up to the sky and take a picture, the Rumbando
Let us know if the mic is working.
come up on the picture. So if you want to go to the App Store, check it out. Oh, because that's the name of the hunger strike, Derrumbando Fronteras. So go ahead and do that. It's an awesome thing that some group of people did for us. Like I said, instead of having the plane fly over us, what we did is we did the kites and the balloons, and it's working just as great.
Check, check, check.
Another thing is thank you all for being here and for taking time out of your day to support the cause. Remember, it's not a one-day thing, it's an everyday thing. We're going to have those call to actions. Make sure you share them. The profiles we're going to be sharing of the individuals that are inside. Compártanlos todos los días. Every single day we're going to have somebody new on there. Make sure you share it and you do the call to action. This is the time to act and not sit back and just watch and post it on your social media. Do the work. Do the work or we're never going to advance ourselves. Okay. Well, one last chance. My favorite, like Mara said. Fuck!
He's still here. He's over there. Somewhere.
Fuck! Fuck! Make some noise. Let them hear us.
Hey guys. So, huh? Oh, okay. Okay, hey guys, so we are at the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, and as you can see, the people are protesting against ICE and the detention of undocumented people. And there was a lot of support, and I thought it was really interesting when a few of Black Americans came in, and they also were talking about how we have to unite, and I think that's a very important thing right now because, you know, there's more power in uniting with our causes, and I think that was really my favorite moment when I saw that people were uniting and that they were coming together to fight this. Yeah, we're gonna go check out this piñata. But what?
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I really did enjoy like that whole talk about unity, because I think a lot of people we need this is what that's what I want. I want everybody to unite and fight together because if you think about it, ICE is the police. The word it's in police, ICE is in that. They were created like a type of police that didn't need to exist. It didn't exist until 9/11. The Department of Homeland Security didn't exist before, and we were just fine. We don't need ICE. I'm all about abolishing ICE, and I'm all about abolishing the police state as well. So as you guys know, it's awesome when we can combine forces with Black Lives Matter and undocumented people because both of them are being incarcerated. And so I like that connection. I think that's a smart connection. It's getting towards where we need to be to have a list of demands and stuff. All right, so here's the piñata. Do you have anything to say about that?
They've been saying the chant "Chinga la migra," which is "fuck ICE," which I didn't know migra stood for ICE.
Yeah. Migra's ICE. And
It's not actually ICE. Like
no, but La Migra is who ICE is.
yeah. It's like police.
Migra is just the term that they put. But what was I gonna say? I don't know. I think it's important that this is happening too, because it just shows there's so many things going on. You know, it's not just what's happening against police brutality. This is another arm of the military-industrial complex and another arm of oppression. You know, and I think that's important to point out because ICE is police. I mean, they look just like police. They go in there and they take people and they incarcerate it. And by the way, they were talking about how these people aren't protected. They're not protected. They don't have masks. They don't care that there's COVID. Get it. Awesome. Reminds me of when we had our get together. But yeah, what did you think about that in particular?
So we're starting to see these protests that originated from Black Lives Matter. Now, really, everybody's really starting to unite and really see that the main problem is the economic disparity. One of the biggest problems is the economic disparity.
And also the police state, because the military-industrial complex is tied to all of this, both the police and ICE. How do we get people coming into the United States? It's because we ruined their countries in Central and South America through U.S. imperialism.
The CIA doing coup d'etats in Honduras, Nicaragua, Bolivia, Peru.
So they did, these are the results of that. And nobody ever talks about that connection. And I think it's important to even educate people fighting this cause as well on what really is behind. Because we could abolish ICE tomorrow, but what we really need to also abolish is obviously the CIA, because the CIA is behind the creation of ICE. That's all part of the military-industrial complex and the police state. So again, it's all connected. That's why I like seeing these connections, because it's not just about one thing when there's so much that goes into it that affects everybody. These people are also incarcerated. These people don't have any, they're not getting unemployment because they don't have papers. They're not getting the $1,200 because they don't have papers. So how are these people surviving? And that's a huge thing in California as well. I wasn't aware that there was even a detention center like here in Washington. You know, we were just talking how there's a lot of people in Washington, and I don't really see too much diversity, but I mean, I come here and there's a lot of diversity. So it was really surprising to really see that. This is really great because now I'm seeing the homelessness issue be tied. I'm seeing immigration reform, police reform, or / defunding police, abolishing police. And then we're seeing all of these causes come together, and that's so important. Like somebody up there was talking about how they like to divide us. They like to have us fight each other. And that is a concept that's really important that we need to point out, because if we're so focused on fighting each other, we're not really fighting the system of oppression. And so this is a really, what I'm seeing now since we've been traveling to different cities. This is Tacoma now. This isn't Seattle. And we're seeing is people are having the same sentiments of your cause is my cause, and we're all in this together. And I think that's where we're going. And if we continue that, we're going to see all these issues arise and all these people come together and realize they're all fighting the system together. This says, I'm tired of being incarcerated. Chinga la mida, abolish ICE. Abolish now, free all incarcerated people. Free them all, defund the police. Right here, free them all, defund the police and sheriff, allocate this funding to community transformative justice, housing, mental health care services, counseling, education, and healthcare. So they're not just saying abolish ICE, chinga la mira, and defund the police. They're telling you exactly where they want this money to go. And that's very important, because those are actions. Those are foreseeable actions that people can take. Same as when we were in Seattle last night, they had the 5 demands that they had now. Now we're seeing the progression of what people are demanding. And a lot of it is very similar. Defund the police, put the money back into the communities. That is what we need to be doing. And it's awesome that it's happening. To me, this has been a long time coming. And the gentleman and also who spoke mentioned too that this is a result of the pandemic. This wouldn't have happened. The pandemic forced people to really consider what was happening, because they're not working as much. They're seeing the economic disparity. So that's really awesome.
They're not as consumed.
Yeah, they're not as consumed, right? Because now you have time to protest and you have all this time. And it's definitely just like Trump, the election of Trump really pointed so many problems that have been there forever. So that this also points out the problems that have been there already, and people are now participating in their communities, and this is happening from the ground up, because a lot of people have been focused on the presidency, but you guys have noticed how that does very little for us. Who we elect for 4 years, they don't even have too much power, because there's Congress, there's the Senate and the House, then you have city council. There are so many ways that you can make a difference, and it starts locally. So Washington in general, I've seen be able to do a really good job. They started the Fight for 15 and everything. So.
Right over there, I think it's on the table. Yes. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So yeah.
So right here, so they protested right outside the building, where the people are detained. So they're inside that building, and there's just this fence blocking the way. And this is in the middle of nowhere here in Tacoma. This is such a random spot for a detention center. I did not know there was a detention center in Washington.
And the significance of the kites is that they can see the kites when they fly them. So if people Some people are going to stay and they're going to fly kites. They're going to be able to see the kites. So that's why you guys are seeing the kites, and you guys can see the kite over there. They can see them, and it's really sad to me that that's all they can see. But in LA too, obviously LA, there's a lot. I mean, California in general, detention centers, and we've been there multiple times. But I didn't expect this. That just shows you we live in a police state. Whether you call it ICE or whether you call it the police, there's still arms of that. That's exactly what they're there. They don't need to incarcerate these people. We can talk about immigration. We can debate about how we see borders and all that crap. But let's be honest, there's something very in common that these people have is immigrants. A lot of immigrants that are descendant of Native Americans. They're descendant of people that were here already. And, we go in their homes and we create these wars, and then they come here for a better life. And when it comes to Black lives, we literally got people from Africa to be slaves, to bring them here against their will. At the same time, this country was built on those backs of these people, yet we just have such a difficult time even talking about that, number one. And number two, we have such a difficult time accepting it and doing something about it. Like, it always goes, well, they're going to take my jobs. No immigrant. Your job isn't coming from people on a boat. Your job is being taken away by corporations. Your job is being taken away by these elites who literally AI, but also these corporations that want to pay slave wages in other countries, okay? And they don't want to hire you. They want to hire other people in other countries so they can make more money. It's all about profit over people. That is the common trend we're seeing. People, property over people, profit over people. So that's what's happening right now. And I didn't expect to come to, honestly, to an immigration protest today at all. Like, I didn't expect that. But seeing it, it's actually a good thing.
Who told us about it?
Joshua Collins, we just did an interview with him. He's here somewhere. He told us about it, and he's here. And he is, of course, running for Congress in Congressional District 10, which includes part of Tacoma. Not all of it, but it includes other parts as well. And Tacoma has a huge, huge issue in housing, he said. So we're going to have that interview come out soon. But he talks about housing being a huge issue, healthcare, and obviously also there's immigration. A lot of the same issues all over the country. But specifically, he mentioned housing is like the number one issue here. It's getting really expensive for people to live here, so.
The leader right here, I think that's Maru. Remember Maru?
What's
right here in the purple pants. See if we have a chance.
Oh yeah.
Right here, talking to the car.
Oh, okay. Let me ask her. Hi. Do you Do you have a chance for an interview? We're a progressive independent media, and we just want to ask you a few questions. Thank you. So, hi. You tell me your name?
Maru Mora Villalpando.
Okay, Maru, nice to meet you. I'm Fiorella. We have a progressive independent show. We've been traveling all over looking at the different protests, but I'm happy to see that there is a protest in front of the detention center. We're from California. We didn't know you guys had a major detention center here. Can you tell me more about what this center is and how many people they have in here?
Yeah, this center opened in 2004, and it opened with 500 people capacity. It has grown to almost 2,000 people capacity. And so we had it for a while here, and most people didn't know it. You know, the idea of detention for immigrants is like the border, but it's really across the nation. We have over 200 detention centers, plus county jails being utilized for detention. So this place sees a lot of people from the southern border, from Oregon, from Idaho, Montana, Alaska, and obviously Washington State. So they have about population for men, 1,200, and for women, about 300. That's usually the normal population. Right now it's really low across the nation, not only here. But for us, nothing is low except zero. So we wanted to shut down. We've been working with people detained. So we do this quite often. Now under the pandemic, we have to be, not as monthly as we were doing, but we're trying to come back as often as we can.
Can you tell me about the conditions? Because I've heard from a lot of people that they're not giving people masks, they're not taking the health precautions that they need. Is there anything people can do to help with that?
Yeah, no, so we noticed from the beginning of the pandemic that, yeah, people were not given masks and guards wearing masks either. They were not wearing gloves. They were not the normal protocols that we got used to it until mid-April. People start seeing masks being given, but they're only changed once or twice a week. So, like the mask you have is supposed to be worn daily, right? No, they have those masks and they're supposed to be wearing them until they get a new one, which could be 3 days or even 7 days. Besides that, there's already been complaints about the food. Like today they told us for dinner they had corn. Corn, only corn, that was dinner, that's it. There's terrible medical care. There's no medical care. There's racism, of course. There's a really terrible treatment by guards. People are tired of working for $1 a day, so they decided not to work anymore, so nobody cleans. So it's a mess inside. And besides all of that, ICE decided to, to approve Geo to use a very harsh chemical that is corrosive, and it's making people sick. So everybody has a skin rash, eye rash, nosebleeds. People today were telling me about sore throat and coughing, constant coughing. So it's really, really bad. We need people to call elected officials, wherever they are, because almost everywhere there's a detention center. So it's not only about NWDC, it's about every place where there's a cage for human beings. So talk to your local elected officials. Make sure they're doing something to shut it down. We need to make sure that these places are shut down. We don't need better places. We don't need better conditions or painted, pink and blue. We need to make sure that they're shut down. And if they follow us on social media, we're going to have almost every day a different person in detention story. So people in detention are sending us their letters and pictures, and we're going to feature that. And we want to make sure that people know who is inside and why we need to make sure they're released as soon as possible.
What's your social media?
La Resistencia NW for Northwest.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
As you can see, guys, that's very horrible conditions inside of this detention center. I can't believe that. That's absolutely horrible. And it's very, it's no different to me than a prison. I mean, it's a prison. And their crime is coming here illegally. Now, a lot of people can try to debate, well, why are you coming to this country, blah, blah, blah. You just do it the legal way. Just so you guys know, it takes years to do it legally, and sometimes you don't get to just apply for a visa and get it. It is very difficult oftentimes to get a visa if you're coming from certain countries, especially very poor countries which doesn't make sense, right? If you're coming from a very poor country, you should be able to be one of the first people coming in, and that's just not how things happen. That's just not the way it's done. It takes years. It takes thousands of dollars. Most of these people obviously don't have the money to do that, so then they turn into doing it the non-legal way. And also our process is so slow. It is so judgmental. It is so biased. I mean, I know it's hard to get into Canada, but I mean, it's like our process isn't any better to have a legal way of coming in. And again, especially as Americans, if you are angry for people coming in here, then let's stop engaging in these interventionist wars, because at the end of the day, that's what's causing people to come here. Because a lot of us, like myself included, are even thinking about leaving the United States because we're not getting health care. We're not getting the things that we need. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and they're not really helping anybody out. So it's all about being just humane. I think it's at some point it stops being about politics and it starts being about humanity. I think this is just about being a good human being. And so what Maru was saying was that they have the website that you guys heard, and they're going to have profiles so you can read about the people that are incarcerated here. Okay, so these kites are made by Queen Anne students. Queen Anne is actually it's in Seattle, in solidarity with the people and families affected by immigration detention and deportation. Abolish ICE, shut down at Northwest Detention Center, reunite families.
So kids made these.
Yes, kids made these. This one says, I believe you should stop abusing the lives of people behind this fence. This kite is dedicated to the people who have been mistreated. I hope you feel better and get treated correctly. Demolish ICE. I like that. And I like the picture. I hope this kite reaches the authorities in charge of this cruel operation. No, you are abusing the people behind this fence. And this one just says, treat people nicely, please, very much. Simple concepts. No toxic chemicals on humans. Yeah, that whole toxic chemical thing. I mean, why is it always poor people and minorities that end up suffering a lot of damage from chemicals? You should give Black lives a chance that their skin is not a weapon. Hi, I hope you are safe. If not, I hope you are okay. And this is my kite. I hope you enjoy. That's cute. Their misspelling is cute. Awesome. Yeah, there's so much bad shit in this country. Like, I wish I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some good things about this country, even with everything that's happening. Like, I don't hate America, but I think, like, there's a difference between being a patriot and being an actual patriot. Like, patriotism also involves criticizing your country when it's not really doing the job it's supposed to be doing. So, like, isn't Trump having an event in Mount Rushmore? I believe it's happening today. And tomorrow is 4th of July. So, again, I feel like we're going to see a lot of tension tomorrow because we have people here incarcerated right now. We have people being killed by law enforcement. We have a lot of people pulling out guns on people that are Black and brown. That's happening all over the place too. There's a lot of tension in this country, and I think we're going to see it erupt tomorrow in a lot of ways.
So other than Joshua Collins, who was running for Congress in District 10, correct? There was the deputy mayor who we saw speak, right?
Was that him?
Yes, the Black gentleman who was deputy mayor, second to go up to speak. And that was interesting. So you're starting to see more and more local representatives come out to these protests.
If they don't do that, they're going to get voted out. That's how it should be. They have to. They mentioned that you have to hold them accountable. Like, if you don't hold them accountable, nobody's going to hold them accountable. If you continue voting blue no matter who, why the hell should they change what they're doing if you're going to give them your vote? Like, and like, this is just one aspect of it. But I mean, it's very important. Like, if you're in a district where people are really, like, active about an issue, whether it's immigration reform or whether it's defunding the police, and you don't, like, listen to your community, it can get really ugly for you. So, yeah, I care about why they do it, but as long as they do it, to me, it's important. You just got to keep pushing them to see if they follow through, because a lot of people talk the talk and they don't walk the walk. So, all right, guys. I guess we're gonna be heading back towards Seattle, so we'll probably try to go live again. Just keep up with us, and we'll have we're doing interviews tomorrow and until we go back to California with other congressional candidates. It is Julian Assange's birthday, so who is also incarcerated. I mean, it's disgusting. And who led that incarceration? The United States. The United States led that incarceration. We incarcerate more people all over the world than any of the other major countries combined. That's like not just like that is a fact. Anybody can look that up. And we obviously have a real problem with incarceration. And they mentioned something about criminals. Like we a lot of us, and myself included, are under the belief that we should not be incarcerating people for things like drugs. We should be making them do community service, rehabilitation for people who are addicted. We shouldn't be putting homeless people in jail, giving them tickets, taking their tents away. Joshua talked with us earlier about that, how the police come in and they do the sweeps. They do the same thing in LA. They take everything from them and they have nowhere to go because guess what? It's all about making the streets look prettier. That's how they solve the problem. They don't solve the problem. They just make it look better, but they don't do anything to really solve it. So keep up with us, guys. We'll be back. Thanks for watching. Convo out.
Bye.
Peace.